Hey skaters, what's going on? So, a package came in for me the other day, and I'm not gonna lie, I was actually expecting this. It's just I didn't really tell anybody else about it. I'd heard all the hype about these things for a long time, and it's been an honor to be able to try them out. Now, before I go on any further, there's just a little bit of a backstory here. You see, in the roller skating world, at least in the enthusiast market, there are a lot of independent creators. And I don't just mean like videos and things like that. No. I mean, there are people that make plugs and stoppers and wheels and all kinds of crazy stuff. Aftermarket parts for plates. We're out there. We actually do a lot of that stuff. Most notably, the two biggest names that come up when it comes to independent makers and roller skating products is actually surprisingly from Australia, both of them. They're both in each other's backyards, and that would be Mr. Scott Corey and Mr. Jeff Heebie Jeebie Brown. Now, the thing is, these two actually have quite the symbiotic relationship. Let me explain. Now, Scott has actually been manufacturing tires for fan jets. I believe that's actually how he started out, actually in his own home. And that's how a lot of things evolved into him owning a small company, which also is still ran out of his own home. The prowess of his compounds had actually become so renowned that it went from making tires for fan jets to making full-on wheels, again, right out of his own home. Now, Jeff, on the other hand, has a slightly different story. He manufactures hubs and everything else, but what he does is he actually uses the Scott Corey urethane on his wheels. So if you do buy a Heebie Jeebie product, it's still a Scott Corey tire on there. Which brings me to this guy right here. This is a Heebie Jeebie wheel, okay? And you can see that it's actually embossed right here. It says 98. So rather than printing a lot of the durometers on these wheels, they're actually engraved. They're embossed into them along with the brand name. I know it's going to be hard to see. You see Heebie Jeebie right there on the edge of that. These come to me courtesy of Marshall Mort. He's been submitting a lot of things for me to review. I'm sorry about that. Props to Marshall Mort for that. Thank you so much for contributing these things to the channel. And of course, these things are almost $250, $300 wheel when you factor in the cost of shipping, because they have to ship internationally. Now, I did spend a good week with these, and I gotta say, honestly, I'm not used to a 62 by 44 full speed size wheel anymore, but it was honestly refreshing to kind of look back at the skating dynamics that such a large wheel would bring to you, albeit I spent over 20 years on wheels of this exact size. Actually, I think these are 63 by 44. A little bit of an oddball size, but close enough to what we know as a full speed profile wheel. And of course, I'm out walking around my own neighborhood, and look, we got these two visitors right here. Say hi, everyone. They're not in whatever we have going on here. Free wheel? No, not interested? Okay. Can't convince some people, I swear. Okay, so let's get down to it. What really is the tangible benefits of having this? First off, if you can find a set of these with a full-size bearing in it, you have found an incredibly rare wheel. And that is because almost every set of these is made for micro bearings. Did the micro bearings actually affect anything performance-wise? I'm gonna be honest, no. No, they did not. I'm sure the next big question is, what's the compound like? It's freaking amazing. These are machined flat. There are no grooves on them whatsoever. None. And they had a predictable breakaway. They had an incredibly high top speed with almost zero effort. Seriously. And they still stuck to my floor, my home rink floor, which is practically uncoated. The coating is so thin, it's almost like skating on a raw wood floor. And they still gripped more than adequate enough. And of course, because the diameter and width increase, my slide duration and length were greatly increased. Of course, another thing is my slides had a harder time arcing. They tracked way straighter, which is kind of nice. That's very appreciable. I think just about, from experience, just about any full-size speed wheel, 62 by 44, is going to have that same effect. When you start going down in size, as far as diameter and width, the next thing to happen is a lot of times your slides will actually start to arc. Now, before I bore you too much with a lot of this stuff, I want you to go ahead and hit subscribe and everything else, because I didn't forget about you. There is going to be some skating footage of me using these, and you can see exactly what phenomenon I'm talking about. Now, once again, back to it. These wheels here, honestly, are they worth the money? Yeah, I really do. But again, it's an enthusiast market. I really don't see a lot of recreational skaters that skate 2 or 3 times a week buying these. Who's gonna buy them? Who is the target audience? Honestly, these old guys who are dead set on having their Wicked Lips and OG Neil Piper formula cannibals, those guys are definitely who this is aimed for. So if you like any of those, you really need to try these. And they do have the legendary Scott Corey urethane. And I just want to remind you, urethane does not last forever. Just because a Wicked Lip or any of that stuff was really good 30 years ago, just keep in mind, if you are looking for those and spending like $400, $500, and it's been done on any of those wheels, keep in mind the newest examples of those are still 30 years old. There's only so much machining can fix on those. And not only that, but compound, formulas have actually came a long way since then. However, a lot of the American formulas and compounds haven't been nearly as good as they've been in over 30 years. It really has been about 30 years since any of the stuff we've made stateside has really been good. But this Scott Corey urethane, comparatively, compared to every wheel I've ever skated on, this is just as good, if not better, than any other compound I've ever skated on. You see, there's a reason why all of us old guys who have owned all these things constantly preach about the Scott Corey compounds, the Heebie Jeebie, because again, it's a Scott Corey compound. There's a reason we rave on and on and on about them. Because for the first time in like 30 years, we actually have something out there on this planet in 2022 that is actually as good, if not better than, those old formulas that we haven't had stateside or worldwide even in about 30 years. So if you do happen to run across Jeff Heebie Jeebie Brown on Facebook, you need to go look these wheels up. He's got them in different sizes. I think there's one called the Monster, and it's like this gigantic wheel. It's like really super cool. Fat tires instead of the little thin ones like this. And it's still got these huge hubs. I think there's another one called like a Big 50 or something like that. I don't know. It's crazy. But yeah, you need to go check this stuff out. And also shout out again to Scott Corey for facilitating that for Jeff and making these kinds of things happen. This is the collaboration the world needed. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into the skating portion. And you can just kind of see through the skating what I was able to pull off on them. And you can kind of see how it affected my posture, slide length, durations, even tracking. All right, so this is TJ with Roller Skate Universe. Peace.